Charm. A charm is a category of spell that alters or enhances what an object, creature, or person can do without changing its fundamental nature. In magical theory, charms affect function rather than form. This makes them distinct from Transfiguration, which alters the inherent structure or composition of the target. Charms can add new abilities, improve existing traits, or cause a temporary magical effect. They are among the most widely taught and used spells in the wizarding world, appearing in both everyday life and combat. Common charm work includes levitation, summoning, unlocking, and altering properties like temperature or sound. They are generally considered non-harmful, though some charms can be weaponized depending on the caster's intent. Notable examples include Wingardium Leviosa, which allows levitation of objects, Accio, a summoning charm that brings objects directly to the caster, Alohomora, which unlocks doors and containers, Silencio, which mutes a target, and Sonorous, which magnifies the caster's voice. These spells show the breadth of charm magic, ranging from utility and household uses to dueling applications. Some charms can overlap with protective or concealment magic. This overlap is one reason why charms are considered one of the most flexible and adaptable branches of magic in the wizarding world. Transfiguration. Transfiguration is the branch of magic concerned with changing the form, appearance, or fundamental nature of a target. Unlike charms, which modify what something can do, Transfiguration changes what something is. It is one of the most complex and dangerous forms of magic taught at Hogwarts, requiring precise wand movements, correct incantation, and strong concentration. Even minor errors can produce incomplete or unstable transformations. Transfiguration is divided into several sub-branches. Transformation involves changing one object or creature into another, such as turning a matchstick into a needle. Vanishment removes the target from the physical plane, effectively making it disappear. Examples include making small creatures vanish in classroom exercises. Conjuration produces objects from nothing, though some forms of conjuration are treated as their own field due to their complexity and potential overlap with dark magic. In advanced cases, transfiguration can be applied to living beings, but this is highly regulated due to ethical and safety concerns. Notable examples include Vera Verto, which turns animals into goblets, switching spells, which exchange the properties of two objects, and Avifors, which turns small objects into birds. Transfiguration's versatility means it appears in both practical magic and combat situations, though its high skill requirement limits its effective use to well-trained witches and wizards. Certain transfiguration spells, such as Petrificus Totalis, are debated among magical scholars for whether they constitute transfiguration, binding magic, or dark magic, showing how classification boundaries can blur. Conjuration. Conjuration is the magical art of creating objects or entities out of nothing, bringing them into existence through direct magical force. In wizarding theory, it is sometimes classified as a sub-branch of transfiguration because it involves altering the state of matter and energy, but it is often treated as its own specialized field due to its difficulty and the wide range of applications. Conjured items can be inanimate, such as furniture, or animate, such as birds or snakes. However, conjured objects are typically temporary and may vanish after a period of time or when the caster loses concentration. The complexity of conjuration lies in the fact that the wizard must form a complete and accurate mental image of the object's form, function, and sometimes even its behavior. Examples include Avis, which conjures a flock of birds, Conjunctivitis Curse, and Serpensortia, which conjures a live snake. Some conjurations, such as Fiendfire, are classified as both conjuration and dark magic because they create an uncontrollable, destructive magical entity. The Ministry of Magic heavily regulates certain types of conjuration, particularly those that produce dangerous creatures or objects, to prevent misuse. While conjuration is powerful, it has known limits. Food, for instance, cannot be conjured from nothing in defiance of Gamp's law of elemental transfiguration. For this reason, many conjurers rely on summoning or transformation in combination with conjuration to achieve their desired results. Counterspells and anti-magic. Counterspells and anti-magic are defensive forms of magic designed to nullify, reverse, or block the effects of other spells. Their purpose is to disrupt the magical energy sustaining an active enchantment or prevent a spell from taking effect in the first place. Counterspells can be general, working against a wide range of magic, or highly specific, crafted to undo one particular spell. General counterspells such as Finite Incantatem are taught at Hogwarts and used widely in dueling to neutralize ongoing magical effects. Specific counterspells, like Renervate to revive someone from a stun or Operasium to reveal invisible writing, target narrow use cases but are often more reliable for that purpose. In combat, one of the most common defensive techniques is the Protego series of shield charms, which create a magical barrier capable of blocking spells, physical objects, or even some dark creatures. Anti-magic in this context can also refer to enchantments or wards that prevent magic from functioning in a designated area, such as in secure ministry facilities. The effectiveness of counterspells depends on the caster's reflexes, magical strength, and familiarity with the spell being countered. Skilled witches and wizards can even interrupt a curse mid-cast if they anticipate it, though this requires advanced training. Because they can directly neutralize hostile magic, counterspells are a fundamental part of dueling, law enforcement, and everyday magical safety. Protective and warding magic. Protective and warding magic is used to shield individuals, objects, or areas from harm, intrusion, or detection. These spells can be temporary, such as those cast in the heat of battle, or long-lasting enchantments maintained over months or years. Protection can take the form of a physical or magical barrier, deflecting or absorbing attacks, as well as environmental wards that deter, mislead, or repel intruders. A common example is Protego, a shield charm that creates an immediate short-term defense against spells and projectiles. More advanced versions, like Protego Maxima, extend the shield's range and durability. Wards, on the other hand, are often fixed to a location and can be layered with multiple protective effects, such as the Muggle Repelling Charm or enchantments that hide an area entirely, as with the Fidelius Charm. Protective magic can also conceal magical signatures or block certain types of travel, including apparition. Complex ward systems, like those protecting Hogwarts and the headquarters of the Order of the Phoenix, combine several spells to create overlapping layers of defense. Casting strong protections requires precise magical knowledge and often significant energy, particularly for large-scale or permanent enchantments. Due to their importance in both personal safety and the security of magical communities, protective and warding spells are a core component of advanced magical education and are closely studied by professional curse breakers and security experts. Jinx. A jinx is a form of minor dark magic designed to inconvenience, irritate, or mildly impair the target without causing lasting harm. In magical classification, jinxes are considered the least severe type of offensive spell, sitting below hexes and curses on the scale of harmful magic. They are often used in pranks, light dueling, or as a nuisance tactic in combat. The effects of a jinx can range from temporary physical discomfort to mild behavioral compulsion, but they are usually reversible with a simple counter jinx. Notable examples include Mimblewimble, the tongue-tying jinx that prevents coherent speech, Rictusempra, the tickling charm that incapacitates through uncontrollable laughter, and the Trip Jinx, which causes the victim to stumble. Despite their relatively harmless nature, repeated or prolonged use of jinxes can wear down an opponent, distract them, or create openings for more serious spells. Jinxes are often taught to younger students as a safe introduction to offensive magic, though their misuse against unwilling targets can still lead to disciplinary action. In the broader context of magical law, jinxes are not usually prohibited unless they cause harm through negligence or repeated harassment. While jinxes are a separate category from charms, some spells considered jinxes technically follow charm mechanics, showing how classification can depend on social and legal context as much as magical theory. Hex. A hex is a type of dark magic more harmful than a jinx, but generally less destructive than a curse. In magical classification, hexes are intended to impair, injure, or disadvantage the target in a way that is often more enduring or severe than the effects of a jinx. The harm caused by a hex can be physical, such as swelling, boils, or stiffness, or functional, such as impairing movement or coordination. Hexes are often used in dueling as a way to weaken or immobilize an opponent before casting more decisive spells. They require more magical power and precision than jinxes, and the effects may take greater skill to reverse. Notable examples include the Bat Bogey Hex, which causes the target's bogeys to grow into bat-like creatures that attack their face, the Densaugio Hex, which causes the victim's teeth to grow uncontrollably, and the Pimple Jinx, which covers the target in boils. While hexes are generally reversible, the effects can last for minutes or even hours if not countered, making them more disruptive than jinxes in combat situations. In wizarding law, hexes are often treated as low-level assault if used maliciously, and repeated or public misuse can result in ministry fines or sanctions. Some spells blur the line between hex and curse depending on power, intent, and context, which is why certain hexes are classified differently in different magical traditions. Curse. A curse is a form of dark magic designed to cause significant harm, damage, or lasting disadvantage to the target. It is the most severe category of offensive magic short of the unforgivable curses. Curses are often irreversible without specialized counter-curses and can inflict physical injury, magical debilitation, or destruction of property. In magical theory, curses differ from hexes and jinxes by their greater intensity, potential permanence, and their common association with malicious or aggressive intent. They require strong magical power, precise casting, and often a deliberate focus on causing harm. Notable examples include Sectum Sempra, which causes deep, slashing wounds as if inflicted by a blade, the Reductor Curse, which blasts solid objects apart, and the Impervious Curse, which repels water and other substances from surfaces. Some curses, such as Cruciatus, are so extreme they fall into the unforgivable category. Many enchanted objects and locations can also be cursed, meaning they have been imbued with harmful magic designed to punish, injure, or ward off intruders. The effects of curses can range from direct injury to long-term magical afflictions, such as the curse on the Defense Against the Dark Arts position at Hogwarts. Due to their danger, curses are heavily regulated by the Ministry of Magic, and their use in dueling or everyday life is often illegal unless under authorized circumstances, such as law enforcement or curse-breaking work. Unforgivable curses. The unforgivable curses are the three most dangerous and illegal spells in the wizarding world, classified under the harshest restrictions by the Ministry of Magic. Their use on another human being carries a mandatory life sentence in Azkaban. These spells are defined not only by their effects but also by the level of intent required. The caster must mean genuine harm, control, or death for the magic to work effectively. The first is Avada Kedavra, the Killing Curse, which causes instantaneous death without visible injury and cannot be blocked by any shield charm. The second is Crucio, the Cruciatus Curse, which inflicts unbearable, excruciating pain that leaves no physical mark but can cause lasting psychological damage or even permanent insanity. The third is Imperio, the Imperious Curse, which places the victim under complete control of the caster's will, compelling them to act against their own nature or best interests. These curses are unique in that they have no moral or benign application. They exist solely to dominate, torture, or kill. In wizarding history, they have been used extensively by dark wizards, most notably the Death Eaters during both Wizarding Wars. Because of their lethal or abusive nature, the unforgivable curses are taught only in controlled academic contexts, such as Defense Against the Dark Arts lessons, for the purpose of recognition and counteraction, not practice. Their extreme legal status and moral condemnation make them the most feared spells in modern magical society. Binding and restraining spells. Binding and restraining spells are designed to immobilize or physically confine a target, preventing movement or escape. These spells are frequently used in law enforcement, dueling, and combat situations to neutralize threats without causing lasting injury. They can target the body directly or create physical restraints such as ropes, chains, or magical bindings. Effects may be temporary or last until a counter spell is applied. Notable examples include Petrificus Totalis, the full body bind curse, which freezes the victim completely from head to toe, Incarcerus, which conjures ropes to bind the target, and Immobilis, which stops movement in both living creatures and objects. While many binding spells are classified as non-lethal, some are debated in magical theory as bordering on dark magic, particularly when they cause discomfort, impede breathing, or leave the target vulnerable to further attack. The effectiveness of these spells depends on the caster's accuracy, magical power, and the resistance of the target. Powerful wizards can sometimes break free with wandless magic or sheer strength. In professional use, such as by aurors, binding spells are often combined with protective charms to secure dangerous individuals until they can be transported or interrogated. Certain magical creatures require specialized restraining magic tailored to their physiology, reflecting the wide range of applications within this classification. Enchantments. Enchantments are spells that imbue an object, place, or sometimes a creature with a specific magical property, often intended to be long-lasting or permanent. Unlike charms, which usually act on a target in the moment, enchantments create ongoing effects without requiring the caster's constant focus. These can be functional, like placing a flying charm on a broomstick, or protective, such as a muggle repelling charm around a location. Enchantments can also alter behavior, as seen with bewitched objects that move or respond independently, like the Sorting Hat or self-writing quills. Complexity varies widely, from simple utility enchantments to elaborate magical constructs like the Fidelius Charm, which conceals information within a living soul. Because they can persist long after casting, enchantments require precision and care, and poorly designed ones may be difficult or dangerous to undo. If you've explored every corner of spell classification, the next step is understanding where witches and wizards around the world learn this magic. Beyond Hogwarts, there are other renowned institutions. In the next video, we'll examine these wizarding schools one by one.